Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libran Key. These are messages for the highest and the greatest good of what I refer to as the Elsh Collective, Empaths, Lightworkers, Starseeds, and Healers awakened and awakening souls. Know that if this message has found you, and or if you have found that there is something here for you, that is always the intention put into these messages. If you are returning here, family, thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love wherever you are. This message coming in on behalf of the Eagle Spirit. I'm working with the energies of Apatite here, and I'm bringing that in because this message feels like it's going to be partly channeled through this crystal, the energies of this crystal, and its connection to the blue beings. The blue beings. Essentially, what I'm hearing with that is we understand the blue beings as a group of beings connected to ascended mastery. Very much connected to certain Hindu gods that were depicted with blue skin. But I'm also bringing in here the energy of blue, the blue ray, potentially the energy here of that star group. It's very difficult to kind of put a finger on what all of this is. It's very new to me. Please leave a comment down below if you have ever worked with the blue beings in general, or the energy of the blue beings, or Apatite for that matter, because it is very much connected to them. And I keep on getting the energy of self-mastery here, the energy of going deeper, of self-knowledge, really connected to the energy of Apatite. And the Eagle Spirit coming in almost as a totem here. This energy bringing in this yellow kind of ray of the sun, connecting us to the energy of the solar plexus center, the energy of our willpower. And this combination with these blue beings, the Apatite and the Eagle Spirit, is connected to what they are saying to me is our willpower speaking truth, allowing our willpower to speak the truth, okay? Now, this being Feeling Fridays, we're focusing specifically on the Empath Collective, and there's something here with regard to what the first time I ever heard this was Sarah Akaldi talking about a compromised willpower or compromised solar plexus center. And that really pinged for me. And I want to just take a moment here to really allow each and every one of us right now to really drop into that. This concept and this real thing of a compromised willpower, of a compromised solar plexus center. And two things that they're really bringing forward with regard to this is how we are indoctrinated, how we are conditioned as empaths, and also if we've experienced any kind of trauma, threat, and depending on our own sensitivity, big, small, it doesn't matter, whatever, if there was ever some kind of experience, even something as simple as moving from being very unconscious of ourselves, and I mean this in the very healthy functional aspect of when we're children and we don't have that self-consciousness yet about us, where we're very connected to our nervous system, very regulated in terms of our nervous system, 222 on the clock. And how at some point along our journeys, and this is part of the human experience is what they're showing me, at some point along our journeys, that self-consciousness kicks in and we start to censor or regulate the things we say. We start to understand that We have to function a certain way in society, and especially with regard to being an empath and empath consciousness, how that then presents itself. So a real simple, straightforward example of this is the classic narcissist empath dynamic. All of this is connected to compromised will, is what they're showing me, because when our will is compromised, when our willpower center is compromised, we are then, in a way, functioning from a manipulated energy center. An energy center that can be manipulated for many different reasons, okay? But specifically what they want to focus on here is the way we are raised, the programming, the indoctrination, okay? And how this also fits into something like a narcissist empath dynamic. Now, I remember in the Celestine prophecy, a reference being made to the energy suckers. They're bringing this up right now. The energy suckers, those who suck our energy. And one of the examples that they gave, I remember, was about the aloof person, right? And how when someone is aloof, and they come across very almost kind of like a snob. Like, I really don't know how else to... And I mean, there's degrees of this, right? Where someone perhaps is withholding a certain kind of energy from you, or not engaging with you directly, and behaving very distanced or aloof. And this is interesting because they want me to really emphasize here that we're talking specifically with empaths here. So when empaths interact with that type of energy, or the kind of energy that is very brash and abrasive, egotistical, ego-centered, there is something with regard to empath consciousness and these two dynamics specifically that are very sucking to an empath's energy. And the deeper thing going on here is essentially this compromised willpower center. So they're simply coming through to raise awareness for us around this. Obviously, we cannot solve this in one 20-minute video, because this is a whole thing connected to so much of the collective consciousness and subconscious of the empath here on Mama Gaia. So essentially they want to come in to address this so that at least we can start becoming aware of it in some way. Working with the energy of Apatite, and I'm bringing in that energy right now, that frequency into this reading, can be very helpful with this. One of the things that I've noticed with Apatite, working with it, it's actually quite grounding. It's a grounding crystal. And of course, you know, we have the sort of set standards of what are grounding crystals in terms of color. A lot of black crystals and red crystals, and anything that sort of falls within that color palette, right, can be very grounding to us, and that's true. But I mean, Tektite is black, and I don't find it particularly grounding. Just like Apatite is this beautiful blue color, this rich kind of, it's like to me, it's a very warm, I know it sounds crazy, but earthy blue color. Like, look at Mama Gaia behind me and then look at this, right? So there's something very grounding about this particular crystal. And it really helps with the speaking truth, because it's also connected to the throat, the speaking truth from that willpower center, from a very grounded place. So having said all that, I'm just going to pop a few cards here from the Light Seers Tarot so we can start to sort of build an awareness around what this is and how it presents itself to us as a collective, as empaths, individual microcosm to collective macrocosm, okay? Because there's a lot to take in here. And it simply starts with awareness is what they're showing me. They really want to make this practical and grounded for us. Really understanding how this particular compromised will works. Giving us some specific examples as these tons of cards pop out. Okay, so Judgment in reverse. 10 of Wands coming out in reverse as well. Ooh, the Lovers. And I say ooh because it's in many relationships that this happens. Page of Pentacles in reverse, and also the Three of Pentacles upright. Okay, so immediately they're showing me the Three of Pentacles, and we've got the Three of Cups in reverse at the bottom of the deck. They want to show these all together because they're connected. 3 and 3 is 6, and we're talking here about dynamics in relationships. Dynamics in relationships, okay? So this is essentially the people pleaser affliction. What do we want to call it? Like, I'm even hearing syndrome, okay? But they're kind of saying that jokingly. They want to bring light to it. Even though these are actually these are serious things, right? People pleasing can be debilitating. And they also want to show that this functions in terms of degrees, because it is part of this collective consciousness. It's part of how we function as a society and part of that programming and indoctrination, okay? So they're showing me work, right? In work situations with this Three of Pentacles. And how when we're working, especially in a situation where there are hierarchies, where we've got a boss or where we've got a manager, or where, you know, we're sitting next to a person, we're sharing a space with certain people, there can be this tendency to fall into that people-pleasing sort of energy where we don't want to rock the boat, essentially. We would rather not rock the boat. But at what expense are we rocking the boat, okay? We're essentially doing it at the expense of truth. If there's something that we're not happy about, if there's something that we need to speak up about, okay? So that's one area where this possibly could happen. It's the same with relationships, with that Three of Cups coming out in reverse. That energy of, you know, I don't want to offend this person. I don't want to hurt their feelings, okay? And then there's this added layer of empath guilt, which is how I refer to it, because empath guilt is very much connected to this in terms of when you speak a truth or when you want to say something or how you feel, you then feel guilty. It's almost like that, what do they call it? Like the overshare vulnerability hangover in a way, where it's like, now you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I said it and now I feel bad. I feel guilty because I said it and I probably hurt their feelings. There's a very big difference between the intentional ill harming of someone or the intentional, well, I'm even hearing ill manipulation, which is on a whole other level here. But there's a very different, that is very different, okay, than speaking a truth in a way that comes from essentially this non-compromised will and also from a very heart-centered place. One of the things we're going to see a lot moving forward during this ascension process in the years to come are transformations around love consciousness and what exactly it means to love. This is another aspect of the empath journey that also has been compromised, which is a whole other topic, right? But essentially it's these, let's just say, to put it sort of in a kind of general broad sense, these are concepts of love that are very connected to emotional codependency, and also coming from a place of what I'm hearing is emotional disruption. And it's very much connected to the empath journey with regard to the way we want to connect with people, the type of safety and connection we want with another person, okay? But I'm going to end it there because that goes off into a whole other topic. But essentially, it's along the same lines, okay? Because when we're truly coming from a heart-centered place and speaking truth, there is absolutely nothing offensive about it. If anything, it is healing. It's healing to yourself, and it's actually healing to the person you are speaking to, because it's giving them an opportunity to see perhaps what it is they're doing, right? And of course, amidst all of this, there is massive discernment that also needs to take place, because we are also seeing the manipulation of this in the sense of everybody being offended all the time about something. Do you see how complicated and nuanced this is? There's so many different levels to it. And I always want to clarify here that I am speaking specifically to the empath and the empath journey, and someone who is coming from a very centered place and a truthful place, okay? Not a wounded one. Because a lot of the wounding that we have then plays out in, I'm just going to tell you how I feel and, tell you I'm offended by everything you say, and never take accountability for that myself. Balance and nuance and coming back to wholeness again. Okay. This judgment card coming out in reverse is a very specific yes, to how we will then, with a compromised willpower center, we often will make decisions that are not exactly for our highest and good, and specifically what I'm hearing, for our highest and greatest health, specifically, okay? This 10 of Wands coming out in reverse is interesting next to this Page of Pentacles. They want me to look at this separately from the Judgment card, but it's also connected because we're dealing with sort of the bigger energy here of making decisions that change the course of our lives to the simpler decisions that we make day to day in our physical reality and with our own energy, okay? So this 10 of Wands in reverse is showing us how, when we actually make decisions that are in alignment with our highest and greatest good and health, we see how we take our energy back on the day to day. And with this Page of Pentacles coming out in reverse, it also aligns us specifically to making decisions in our physical reality on the day to day, however minute, to also take care of our bodies and to also go a little bit deeper with regard to learning about those things. So what they're pointing me to here is also, and I can't remember this man's name, this psychiatrist's name, this man who's done so much work with regard to the body holding the score. That's one of his books. The energy of how trauma, the cellular memory, essentially, of trauma, and it's not just in this lifetime, right? It's in previous lifetimes, and it's also not just on Mother Earth, but off planet as well. There's something really important to say about this, and if this is something that has been coming up for you synchronistically, this is definitely a confirmation for that, because I cannot emphasize enough how much this is about the body and how important it is for empaths to have some kind of practice. The Venusians have always brought this message through. How important it is for us to have some kind of daily physical practice that we engage in that connects us back to our bodies. Because there are, and I'm getting, they're showing me essentially an image here of like, there is a treasure chest that is our bodies. And when I'm showing digging to find that treasure chest, they're actually showing it to me like it's a time capsule. So there's this energy of like the body, again, holding the score, the body, there's coding, cellular memory, memories in the body. So when we begin to do things connected to body work, and it doesn't have to be specifically the practice of body work. It could be your yoga practice. It could be your daily walks. It could be your stretches. It could be busting it out at the gym. It could be, they're also showing me breath work here actually, and that's connected because it's involving the body. Remember that breath is connected to spirit, right? Respire, the respiratory system, inspire, respiration, okay, all connected. So all of these things can be tools that we use to really bring awareness to where essentially our willpower how it may be compromised. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I'm going to bring in this beautiful apatite crystal again, thanking these beautiful blue beings and the energy of the eagle spirit, helping us to see this from a much higher perspective, coming in for guidance and clarity around this. I thank you for being here, for sharing your time and your energy with me in this space, and I'm sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation, always.